Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Franklin County Chamber of Commerce check-in during this COVID-19 period. We're having interviews with people in the community about what they're doing, how they're adapting, and some updates on some of our favorite things, and trying to see how we're going to proceed with them. And today I am very happy to have Jim Olsen here from Signature Sounds, the Parlor Room, and the producer of the Green River Festival. Welcome, Jim.
How you doing, Lisa?
I'm good, pretty good, considering. How are
Yeah.
you?
It's a new world, but we're all adjusting as best we can. And, I feel like we're lucky to live where we live. We have friends in the city and stuff, and it's much more difficult there than it is here.
Yeah,
So
I know. I see friends online who are all in their country homes who have them from the cities, and they don't know if they're going back.
yeah,
Yeah. Well, the music industry sure has changed. And the Green River Fest, we're all wondering what's going to happen with that. I think maybe we kind of know, but we'd like to hear it from you.
yeah. Unfortunately, the festival has to be canceled this year. The situation with COVID has just created so much uncertainty and public health risk that we just can't move forward with it. And we're not alone. A lot of the summer events, virtually all of the summer events, have been canceled, and it's just going to be a strange year.
Yeah. How did you decide to do that? And I bet you were closely following like all the big festivals, one after the other, that are getting canceled, and assessing the information. And there's the public health wanting to keep people safe, but also wanting to keep a very important festival to this region going. And even if you did decide to have it, people probably wouldn't, feel comfortable.
They wouldn't come, and they certainly wouldn't feel comfortable. I mean, when you think of Green River Festival, you think of dancing with your friends and hugging people and sharing food and all those things that we love. Just not possible in 2020. This all happened so quickly. The first week of March, we were on track to have our best year ever. Ticket sales were really strong. We were really looking forward to it. And when this all happened, our first thought was, well, July is a long way off, and this, who knows what will happen. Maybe this will play through and we'll be able to have it. But it's over the last 5 or 6 weeks, it's just become apparent that it's impossible. And then all the other summer events started canceling, and the writing was sort of on the wall that there's just no way we can move forward with it.
Yeah. Have you ever had to cancel the Green River Fest before?
33 consecutive years. We were talking about it the other day that, our biggest worry is always like a thunderstorm or something,
Yeah. And that microburst we had.
Something that seems completely minor at this point.
I know.
There's just no way to prepare for this sort of event. And I feel fortunate in one way that the timing was such that we weren't too far along, because the way an event like this works, the planning is a year-long planning process. And really, we spend a lot of the money to make it happen in advance of the festival. And so, if we were, continuing to move along with the planning phase and such, and had to put on the brakes at the last minute, would have been really very painful financially.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you've already signed contracts with all the artists and everything. How do you do that?
Well, the artists and their representatives have been very understanding. They realize this isn't a Green River problem. This is an industry problem, and their entire summer tours, their entire year tours. At this point, no one's really looking at the fall with much confidence either in terms of returning to live performance. So these artists are looking at wiping out a year of income. And for our bigger artists, for the headliner folks, they're essentially entire industries in themselves. It's not just the 5 or 6 people in the band. These people have crews and management that equal sometimes 20 people, 25 people that they try to keep on the payroll. So it's a difficult situation.
Yeah. How will you keep the festival alive between now and hopefully next year when it happens?
Well, you know, our first goal is to try and ensure that we can do it next year. We're trying to hold on to as many of this year's performers to come back in 2021, and so far we've had a really positive response about that. So we're
Mhm.
really hopeful that we'll be able to bring back a lot of the performers. And, you know, we'll just, I think it'll be that much sweeter when we can actually go out and feel safe about it and go do it. So we just hope people will keep us in our minds. You know, it's being 33 years old, you know, we are such a part of the summer calendar in this region. And I think there'll be a big hole that second weekend of July in people's lives. And I think next year people will be ready to come out and do it again.
Yeah. And really, this decision is rippling out into so many parts of the Franklin County economy,
Yeah,
and the national economy. You know,
yeah.
obviously the musicians and the people who work in the industry, but the food vendors who all count on the festival for a big chunk of their income, and the makers market and the
Local
beer.
hotels and restaurants do great business our weekend. You know,
Yeah.
last year we sold tickets to over 40 states and people in 13 countries. People travel now. It's a destination festival. People come here, they come to Franklin County and they spend money at the businesses. We're really sorry that that can't happen this year.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you? What's happening in the local music scene? I know the Parlor Room has obviously is not open, but you've been having some pretty successful online concerts and actually able to get musicians money. I think I saw on your website you raised $45,000 for musicians.
Yeah,
Um,
it's over 50 now. Yeah,
wow.
it's been great. You know, again, this all happened so suddenly, and we had to cancel over 30 shows. I think it was like 35 shows that were scheduled for the winter and spring and into the summer, and either cancel them or postpone them. And that was really a challenging thing to have to do. Um, but we have a great relationship with the artists who come to the Parlor Room and our other venues, and you know they need to continue to make money, and so pretty much everyone has transitioned to doing these online concerts. And
Yeah.
fortunately, we have a great engineer who is willing to dive into the technology and figure it out. And
You
it's
did
been,
that pretty quickly. You figured that out pretty quickly.
yeah, yeah, within a week
Yeah.
actually, we transitioned from the live to the virtual, and it's been really great. And you know, we've done about 15 shows, and we've got another 15 to 20 coming up, and we're adding them all the time. And it's
Mhm.
really it's really fun and gratifying to actually present a performer in their home situation,
And
and
everyone's curious what their homes look like.
what their homes look like. You get to meet their pets, sometimes
Yeah.
their spouse or roommates. It adds a level of intimacy that's really cool. And the other
Yeah.
thing that's really cool about it is there's a you can log in and have a dialogue with each other, the viewers, but also with the artists, and the artists respond to that. So you know,
Yeah.
it's created its own thing. It's not just like a concert. It's really sort of you know, an intimate
Yes.
performance for you and the audience. It's
And
fun.
do you think you might incorporate, once life gets back to normal, whatever that is, do you think you might incorporate some of what you learned from this period and combine with your live shows?
Yeah, we're actually looking at a transition period where we'll bring bands to the Parlor Room, and as bands though, not because right now it's really hard to have more than one or two people playing just because of distancing, and you know, a lot of bands don't live together.
Yeah.
Uh, so the next step would be to bring performers back to the Parlor Room, but to do it in a virtual way, you know, like
Yeah.
an actual live stream concert. Maybe a limited audience if we can make it safe and people feel comfortable. But that's kind of, you know, so there's so much uncertainty with this thing, but that's what we're looking at the next step. I'm not sure what the next step beyond that is. Hopefully it's
Yeah.
returning to, you know, the Shea Theater and to the Parlor Room and to the Academy of Music and all the places we like to present music.
Yeah. Do you think you might do any virtual concerts with the performers that were going to be at the Green River Fest this year?
We've been talking about that. We've been looking at that, trying to make that happen. So, you know,
Yeah.
We're going to do something that weekend. We're not sure what it is yet, but there'll be some
Yeah.
sort of little Green River Festival celebration. One way.
Yeah. 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 Well, I I really hope that next year it can happen. Um, and also for the sake of the, like, have you heard from any of the vendors, the makers market vendors? Uh, 'Cause there's
Not so
quite a
much.
few
Yeah, we're
vendors
just getting the word out now. So we
Yeah.
haven't heard that much feedback from them. But I do worry about because it's not just our event. They're losing a whole
Yes.
season of work, and independent contractors, people who have their own businesses. That's just really hard.
Yeah. I know the Asparagus Valley Pottery Festival did an online tour this year, and they
Mhm.
had like these online shops. I wonder if there could be this whole conglomerate of like online links to makers that were going to be in the festival, to the shows,
Yeah.
to a weekend kind of gathering, virtual gathering somehow. That would be really cool.
We'll see. We'll see. We've got a couple of months to work it out. So we'll see. We'll see what it becomes. But
Yeah. Yeah, and we're still kind of figuring out with the Shea Theater what to, when to go back to having performances. And once we do, we look forward to your shows.
yeah, everybody's looking forward to it. I mean, I think it'll be pretty sweet when we can get back to it. It just is going to be a while, and there's going to be an awkward transition
Yeah.
period. It's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. And one of the upsides also of this virtual world is that you have a bigger audience, maybe, a bigger geographic audience than you would drawing from people within, driving distance for a night.
No, that's one of the fun things you see with these online shows is, in the comments section, people will check in and say where they're watching from, and they're from all over the
Yeah.
world. It's pretty remarkable, actually.
Yeah. And it's kind of invigorating to see all the donations coming in also. Like, it's this new world of watch musicians playing and reading Facebook comments at the same time. It's just
Yeah,
kind of bizarre.
yeah, it is, and you wonder how, like you were saying, how is it going to affect the future moving forward? It's kind of it very quickly has become the new reality,
Yeah.
and we don't know how long it's going to last. So.
Yeah. Well, I think it will all work out well, positive and in the long run.
Yeah, this has
Yeah.
been a test for everyone, and you just got to stay flexible and keep the faith, and you know learn the lessons.
Yes.
There's lessons being taught here, and
Yeah.
we all
Yeah.
have to.
Well, keep me informed of anything you'd like the chamber to promote for the tourism audience
Will
about
do.
updates. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jim. It's really nice to see
Thank you,
you.
Lisa. Take care.
Okay. Take care.
We're good.